Hey Home Inspire, we're Rik and Lindsey Goodman, and I'd like to introduce you to Looking Glass Lodge, and we're just on the outskirts of Hastings. I was brought up in this area near Hastings. Dad and Mum ran a nature reserve, which is literally just down there across the woods, and they lived there and worked there for about 35, 40 years. And a lot of these trees you can see around here were planted by them. I mean, I remember as a kid, this was just like a grassy bank, and I can remember like sledging down here as a kid, which is like, seems crazy now when you look at it. We lived in the Midlands at the time. And thought that it'd be nice to come down and spend a bit more time with Mum and Dad, help them in the garden and help them look after the place a bit more, just because it's getting hard for them as they were getting older. It's like 8 acres here, so it's a lot of them to kind of manage and stuff. So we thought about that in 2010, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just as you were pregnant with our daughter.
Yeah.
We moved down in 2014.
I was working freelance.
Yeah, doing graphic design.
Which I didn't really enjoy so much. Just kind of wanted to be out doing the garden, and it was quite difficult to manage the two. We kind of came up with this idea, probably more of a shed type
it's
thing.
like maybe like a shepherd's hut, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
perhaps.
just so we knew we had a really special plot of land and almost felt like it was a shame not to share that. We didn't want it to be too disruptive, so we kind of went for basically just a couple.
Yeah, just a single bedroom, kind of
smallish. There was minimum impact then on the woodland, and then it kind of grew. I don't know how it grew.
No.
When we looked around, we were like, it kind of deserves something really special. Nothing seemed to fit until we kind of looked at architects, and we were like, okay, we need to go. A lot of the
places that were kind of like in a custom, in a one shop stop kind of thing, seemed to be quite traditional in kind of like round wooden kind of buildings with kind of cone roofs, things like that, and kind of a fairy tale type thing. And it just didn't feel it kind of fitted into the woodland. We wanted something that kind of sat back a little bit more, that made a statement. But also felt it blended in.
Yeah, we wanted it to be really smooth and sit within the woodland.
So we started looking for architects then, didn't we?
Yeah.
And found Mike Kendrick, and his approach seemed a natural, sympathetic to the environment and kind of ecologically friendly and things like that. So that's kind of, we had a chat with him.
We kind of knew that this was
where
the place, but we weren't sure if we'd get planning for up here. They didn't give us planning, but they gave us lots of feedback, so it enabled us to kind of look at what we needed to do
and then tick the boxes, and then managed to find the kind of location where we really wanted to be. And the central kind of feature of the big redwood that's right in front of it, that kind of like set the design of it. In fact, no trees were actually felled in this clearing at all. They're all as they were. So that was kind of almost the space led the design of the lodge itself.
Yeah.
And we wanted to elevate it, so there was not a big footprint on the ground, so there's no traditional footings. It's just with 22 screw piles which sort of weave their way around through the tree roots. So there's no disruption to the trees or any animals that can run around underneath it. And
it has come back like tenfold, I think.
Yeah.
The bluebells and the ferns and everything have really blossomed, haven't they?
So this was in 2018, wasn't it, when we first had the idea of it, and then it took again 2.5 years to get planning permission, to get everything kind of sorted out.
Yeah, the planning stage was way longer than the actual build. The build only took
8 months, I think, something like that, 6 to 8 months. So planning was obviously quite an issue because
we knew that from the start.
Yeah.
It would be a big hurdle to get.
So there was a lot of surveys, wasn't there?
Surveys, badger surveys, dormouse, newts. We basically had to get some special glass. That was one of the conditions. That was the only way we could build it, really, was to have this glass.
It was to prevent light spill, so it wouldn't interfere with the wildlife, particularly with bats. And the thing was that when they specified this glass, they specified, it basically said sage glass, which is what this is, or equivalent. And so we had to look around, and there isn't any equivalent. And the only place the sage glass could come from was from Minneapolis. And then it turned up one day when I was at work, didn't it? I was out in the woods. And that's the other thing, is the logistics, because it is in the middle of nowhere, up on a hill. And there's only a little drive down to the lodge, obviously down to the area. So everything has to be brought down and then craned in. And then you see the amount of trees that are around here. You end up with very expensive. I think the glass was like, I think each pane was like 6, 7 grams worth or something like that. It's ridiculous. But Yeah, it's quite a traumatic time trying to get up here. And the steel as well. Again, that had to be kind of craned up as well.
Yeah, and those points were I think just committing to those things as well was quite stressful, because we didn't envisage that we would have to spend that much on glazing. And there were points where we were like, we've almost gone too far now to sort of come back.
I think our original budget, what the glass turned out to be in the end anyway. So yeah, it was.
But those are the things that happen, and you have to kind of just roll with those and hope that you can see it through to the end, really, isn't it? Yeah.
So as a result, we did do a lot of the work ourselves. These legs are all coated in tumescent paint, which we did ourselves over a fun-packed weekend.
Oh, God,
and it's like cottage cheese.
It's really awful stuff. Anything that was kind of doable.
Groundworks, all the drainage was down to us, I think, as well.
Yeah,
all the insulation.
It just saved enough for us to get it to push through to the end.
Yeah. And your parents helped a lot as well. They came down. And
anything that was sort of hands-on that we could. There were moments that it was very stressful but enjoyable at the same time, for sure.
Okay, so the design, I think, was mainly led by the fact, because it was always going to be a holiday let, wasn't it? That was always the idea, so we could bring a little bit of income to look after the land.
Yeah, we wanted somewhere that you didn't have to do anything. The woodland kind of gives you everything. So we wanted it to be a place where you would come and feel like when you walk in, you're part of the woodland. Yeah, so we came up with glass fronted. Originally it had more glass panels, but I'm quite pleased that the glass panels were so expensive that we had to scale those down. And actually, I think it's worked in our favour.
It gives them more cosy areas, and more kind of like
cozy little sections now, rather than it being like sort of glass.
I think we were very aware that it could start looking like an office building, because it's quite modern, a modern building.
Yeah. So just using the cedar, I think, was a really good decision.
And as you can see, when you're standing on the terrace, and you can see straight through, and the first thing that kind of grabs you is that connection with the redwood behind and the larches and all the trees there. That's what kind of like that's what you kind of see, and that's where you want your eye to be drawn to, rather than all the kind of stuff that we've put in between.
Yeah.
And the stuff in between kind of needs to be almost secondary to the woodland, I think, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah. So the internal side of it, we were very conscious that we wanted it to be very tactile. Everything, we wanted it to have a texture, like a smell or some kind of sensory part of it.
Yeah.
So everything, even the light switches.
Trying to find light switches that are kind of like have a biophilic kind of feel to them is like, it's not easy.
It's not easy. We wanted everything to feel like it was part of the woodland. So we had an illustration done, rather than doing a
CGI type.
CGI. Before it was here, she sat in the woodland and did an illustration, and then she picked a colour palette that she'd used from the woodland and gave it to us, and we used that palette to basically do the interior, so that it felt like all of the colours and everything we used were part of the woodland. We were quite conscious that we would run out of money near the end.
It's the same story as you see with every build, isn't it?
And we knew that that's what we needed to sell staying here. So we made the decision, and lots of things had a long lead time. So the sofa, so we had to order them before the build was actually here, which was really stressful because we had to just do it on measurements. I would wake up having nightmares. The bath, we thought we'd over-egged the bath. We thought it was going to be way too big, and actually nearly was too big. We hadn't factored in that the steel would be put in the middle for the kitchen before we put the bath in.
And then they got clad, but the bath was outside, waiting to be put in. By that time, the cupboards and all the kitchen fittings had been put in, so narrowed the gap. And I was like, at midnight, I just woke up in the middle of the night going like, is that going to fit anymore? So I ended up just running up here about 1 a.m. with a tape measure, and it was about 5 mil, I think, about 5 mil clearance.
To get it through that
little gap.
So there were lots of sort of practical stuff that we had to sort of guess, I think.
Yeah.
But we were very adamant that we wanted them to be a certain spec. So we had to change the ceiling entirely because originally it was going to be ply, the same as the the back, so it was going to run with a nice sort of pattern going across the top. And then COVID happened and the prices just...
Yeah, it went from, I think the ply sheets went from £60 a sheet to £300 a sheet.
I can't actually remember who suggested it.
No, I think we thought it might be nice to use the cedar as external cladding and to bring...
And have it kind of running from the outside in, so it looks like one seamless. And it actually was the best.
It was way better. And it works, I think, for acoustics as well. It's kind of, it dampens the sound, so it's not echoey around here as well. One of the other things I particularly like as well is the fireplace here, which really kind of makes the lodge, particularly
really
in the winter.
Yeah. I think it just gives that really cosy feeling. It's quite a feature, and we wanted that to be the main feature of this area.
Yeah, which is perfect for the main source of heat during the winter. Yeah. There's also underfloor heating as well, which to supplement that.
And then there's the glass.
Yeah, if it starts overheating, then the primary use of the sage glass is in countries with big office buildings. It will darken to stop overheating. Which it still does. So there's sensors on the ceiling. So if it senses the sun coming around, it will darken certain panels to stop the building overheating, which makes it always kind of like cool and nice around here, isn't it? Okay, so this is the kitchen area, and again we kind of wanted to follow through with everything having that kind of tactile feel with the plywood cupboards and things like that. Everything, we didn't want to have everything on display like all the toasters and a lot of the appliances. The worktop itself, we went for, again, wanted to develop that tactile feel. So we went for like a cement topping, which gives that a real nice kind of feel to it. And the colour we kind of drew from, I think it's from the lichen, the lichens from the trees around here as well, the larch particularly. Again, we tried to use like a load of local suppliers, didn't we, and things like that.
Yeah, as much as possible, we will source all of the things throughout the lodge within reason.
Yeah.
Just so that people can go into Old Town in Hastings or into Rye and actually buy some of the products that are actually in the lodge.
This is the bedroom and kind of bathroom combined area, which is a little bit separate from the living area and the kitchen. We wanted to keep that as a separate feel to it, really. So you come here and kind of almost cocoon yourself away. I mean, the glass at night time, when it does go dark, you can't see in, so there's no one around anyway, so for miles around. But it gives it a softer feeling when you can draw the curtains around you, and just makes you feel like just a bit warmer, isn't it?
Yeah, the curtain closes this side, and then on this side it comes all the way around and meets the bathroom one. So you can kind of cocoon yourself in this section, which feels really nice and cozy.
Yeah. And also, the whole lodge was supposed to be a little bit longer as well, wasn't it, initially? That was reduced mainly to cut down on the amount of glass panels that we were using. The proportions feel right as they are now, so I think that's probably done us a few favours as well as the financially, just making it feel
It just feels a bit more closer and cozier. So yeah, I think that is another thing that kind of worked in our favour.
And makes it more simple as well. They've got less things and clutter in the living area.
Yeah.
The thing we were worried about was when we sat down and thought the only ventilation would be through the sliding doors that you come in through. And you don't really want to have those open overnight. So we got Mike to design these little vents on the corner here, which kind of you can open and close, and it's actually kind of built into the actual panel itself.
So there's three in total. So there's one here, one by the bath, and then one in the living room. So in here particularly creates a really nice
flow of breeze through. Yeah. You got the bathroom, the toilet and shower room through here.
Yeah.
And then in the bath, which is, again, it's a great bath. I think it's probably the only white thing in the lodge, isn't there? But it does stand out really because of that as well.
The shape of it, we wanted it to feel really natural, so we did go for sort of the pebble shape.
Yeah, and we are close to the sea down at the beach down here, and there's it's a very pebbly beach, so it's kind of fitted in nicely with that as well.
Yeah, we like that kind of connection, so it works really well.
Thanks, Home Inspire, for coming around and looking at Looking Glass Lodge. If you want to come and stay and join us, then you can do so through our website, which is www.lookingglasslodge.co.uk, or Instagram. I think it's just @Looking Glass Lodge. So come and look forward to welcome to the lodge.